Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And today I am with Dr. Eldred Taylor, and we will be speaking about heart rate variability. Now, Dr. Taylor is a well-known dynamic speaker. He's been using heart rate variability in his practice for over 10 years, and he's actually here to speak with us about amino acids and heart rate variability today. Dr. Taylor, thank you for being here. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, well, no problem. Dr. Taylor, I've actually just read through your book, The Stress Connection. This is a big book. And so before we get to that, though, Dr. Taylor, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about how you got involved in all of this?
Well, I am from Nashville, Tennessee. I went to Vanderbilt for my undergraduate education, and then came to Emory in Atlanta to medical school and did a residency in OBGYN. Practiced routine OBGYN for about 7 or 8 years, got kind of bored and got interested in bioidentical hormones. And from learning about bioidentical hormones and kind of going off track a little bit or more in the alternative or functional medicine, that led me to understand how stress affects hormones. And from that information, I really got interested in stress. The first book we wrote was Are Your Hormones Making You Sick? It was about bioidentical hormones. But then I found out how stress affects not only hormones, but it affects all body systems. And from that, we wrote the book, The Stress Connection. And I got interested in how can you actually measure stress, because there's a basic business principle that says you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So I got very interested in how to measure stress, and that's how I came upon heart rate variability. And when I first learned about heart rate variability, I thought this was something new, but as an OB, we did fetal heart rate variability, and we made life or death decisions based on heart rate variability. And that doesn't change once a person becomes an adult. And so the best way to measure stress is heart rate variability, just like it was when I was doing OB. So that's kind of a short history of how I went from delivering babies to being interested in the measurement of stress.
Is heart rate variability something that we can use in adulthood to have the same type of measurements of stress as well?
So yes, this is something in adulthood that you can do heart rate variability, and you can tell if the body is under stress or in an imbalanced state. And the great thing about it is that once you have corrected that imbalance, you will see that the heart rate variability changes very quickly. So it's a great immediate measurement of stress, and whether or not your treatment, whatever that is, whether it's giving the person glucose or it's that the person needs more oxygen, or they need more vitamins or minerals, or they need less inflammation and you take away the inflammation, it is a very way to monitor whether or not your therapy has corrected the imbalance.
Very interesting, Dr. Taylor. You're currently practicing with your wife in Atlanta, in a functional medicine practice. How many patients are coming in there that actually have sympathetic nervous systems that are just on overdrive?
Oh, I would tell you 80 to 90%. There's a study in 2002 in the Journal of Metabolism that states that 75 to 90% of all visits to primary care physicians are for stress-related complaints or disorders. And I have found that to be true. It seems like a shocking number, but I perform a heart rate variability on everyone who comes into the office. And I would tell you that that number is probably true. And what I'm seeing lately is that I see abnormal heart rate variabilities or sympathetic overdrive on younger and younger patients every day. The amount of stress these students are put under to get into the right high school or the right junior high school or even the right kindergarten now, and then on to the best schools and scholarships. I see more and more 14, 15, 16-year-olds walk in on antidepressants, and we do a heart rate variability, and they're in sympathetic overdrive. And it's really sad to see because the antidepressants aren't really helping the problem. What they really need to do is to enhance their parasympathetic so that it can meet the demands of the sympathetic nervous system. Your primary goal is to, one, remove whatever the stress is, if it's at all possible. If that's not possible, you want to change how you respond to the stress. And I know with your HRV apparatus, the guided breathing, the breathing that helps you to change how you respond to stress, and you can see on your ANS analysis that how guided breathing will increase the parasympathetic. So one, you want to try and get rid of the stress. Two, you want to try and change how you respond to the stress. And third, you want to try and repair your body from the results of the stress and prepare your body for future stress.
You have also created unique formulations that actually modulate heart rate variability.
Yeah.
Could you tell the audience a little bit about which formulations to give to which patients? Is there are there rules of thumb? How do you approach heart rate variability in your clinical practice?
So we decided to formulate products specifically to enhance the heart rate variability so that it could respond and adjust to stress more efficiently. What you will find is that a lot of people are low in amino acids, and I can show you a chart of the reason why, but people are low in amino acids. So you need to replenish the amino acids, but also in functional medicine, we like to look how the body is supposed to function. So we look at pathways. So if you look at the pathways from where you consume proteins and you try to digest them and get them to neurotransmitters, there are a lot of things involved. You have to have enough stomach acid in order to break down the proteins. You have to have enough minerals like zinc. You have to have a lot of B vitamins and vitamin C. So if you are not, if you don't have enough of that, you aren't able to have an adequate supply of neurotransmitters, even for the heart rate variability to function and to represent what is going on. Have to have all of the neurotransmitters in the right balance in order for everything to work correctly. And here's, you see serotonin, there's adrenaline, and then there's something called GABA. But what I want to show you is that it all comes from proteins, and you need to have stomach acid. And so many people are on antacids and things like Nexium to decrease stomach acid because of gastric reflux, that they're unable to make proteins. And if you can't break down proteins, you can't make amino acids and you can't make neurotransmitters. And also you need the right bacteria in the gut, you need B vitamins, you need vitamin C. And so what we did is we put everything in this product called Amino Restore so that you didn't have to go to GNC and pick up, 10 items. And this is a powder that we use. Everything is in there. And from our clinical experience, we have seen that it enhances heart rate variability. And when you enhance heart rate variability, you enhance the sympathetic nervous system so that when a person needs more get up and go, they have it. But then also when they need to rest and digest, which is what the parasympathetic nervous system does, they can also sleep and their gut works better. So that was the goal of formulating those products.
Very interesting. For those of us who want to know a little bit more about your line of formulations, what is the best way for us to be able to find out more information about that?
Yeah, well, you can go to my website. It's www.taylormdformulations.com. There's a lot of information on that. You can feel free to email me through that site. I try to answer those emails. We have webinars from time to time to talk about the ways to use this in clinical practice. So yeah, TaylorMDFormulations.com. You can look at the products and you can communicate with me through that website.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Taylor. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Brendan.
Okay, thank you.